9 to noon on the game. 414-799-1973 is the NicoletLaw.com talk and text line. John Kuhn, Billy Schmid, Nick Brusewitz in attendance. He's clocked in, ready to go. John, our guy Nick Brusewitz is about to embark on a heck of a journey here. He's going to go for about 3 some weeks, pulling the double duty into football season. So yesterday, while you and I are out hanging out at Grand Geneva with a lot of people around the Badgers network and the Packers radio network and talking about football season, Matt LePay said, somebody asked, 4th of July, is that when you start really thinking about football season? He goes, well, no, I would like to push that off just a little bit more, right? I'd still like there to be a little bit more summer. Nick Brusewitz said, end my summer vacation now.
Yeah.
As his football season starts here today.
I don't know if he said it, but it definitely happened. It definitely happened. Hey, fella, you got training camp. You're going to be working 12-hour days, maybe 6-7 days a week. And we may give you a load management day in there, but for the most part, you're going to be working, son.
Yeah. I mean, 3 months ago, Red Hot's like, hey, if Armin's going to be out, do you think you could fill in for a little bit? And I was like, you know what? I can.
There you go.
Sign me up.
That's that can-do attitude right there.
Look at this.
That's what we wanted.
This is like who came in for Wally Pipp?
Lou Gehrig?
It's like Lou Gehrig.
Lou Gehrig.
Are you sure it's Lou Gehrig? I'm not sure.
How about that?
It might have been.
So, yeah.
I actually think it is, and I'm sorry I put you on the spot, but I can never remember. Is it Gehrig? Is it DiMaggio? Which
one of those 97 Yankees?
Well,
yes,
the guy. Yeah,
I mean, he dated Marilyn Manson. He was married to her.
No, Marilyn Monroe.
Yeah,
big difference. Big difference.
Big difference.
Great correction. I appreciate that. We were talking Marilyn Manson yesterday. Tim Allen brought up what on-air staff member looks like what rock stars. I'm like, Marilyn Manson's pretty tall, right? So Butchie could be Marilyn Manson, right?
Oh, wow. Okay. Man, that was a heck of a day that you guys ended up having.
Yesterday. So when you guys were out on the links playing a little golf, right?
You guys were talking about me looking like Meatloaf and John looking like Zach Brown.
I think John got a character from Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, like the prospector dude. With
Cornelius, Yukon Cornelius. Yeah.
That's not that bad, right? I mean, a beloved character. I think that's not as bad. KB was a little roughed up. He felt bad about being called Art Garfunkel. But so we had Sinekin for you guys 9 to noon, which was fun. It's good to talk back with him. And then Tim Allen and Mike Jocko Jocks.
Okay, so John, you heard UConn. You just fired off Yukon Cornelius. So this is one that
I've been called that 100 times.
You've heard this for a while then?
Well, when I was playing, I would not detail this beard so precisely. It's football season. It's going to get messy anyways.
Mm-hmm.
And I would just let that thing flourish. No cheek shaven, no neck shaven, unless I had, a function to go to. If I
had to clean it up.
If I had to do a Make-A-Wish or something like that, there would be a little cleanup, a CASA event, a little cleanup or something like that.
Sure.
But other than that, it's like, hey, just let that thing go. But if you get a couple months, if you get like 2 months with no events that you have to look good for, and you're just grinding out football week after week after week, that thing gets gnarly, and that thing can look like Yukon Cornelius, and that thing can twist on the ends the way that his mustache did.
Oh my God. Yeah. If you could get that mustache twirling by New Orleans, I mean, you would be the most popular human being at Super Bowl.
No, I doubt that. I doubt that.
You think so?
Listen, I lived with that beard. It doesn't make you any more popular. In fact, it makes people want to be away from you.
Well, and in New Orleans, you know what it's like living in New Orleans with that kind of beard. That's probably not what you'd want.
That beard in New Orleans. Now, granted, it's February. February can get hot there. That beard might be a little bit of a nuisance down there. I'm glad you brought up yesterday, Billy. The thing that impressed me, you talk about the great Matt LePay got to talk, and that was fun. That was fun to get to hear about the expectations in Badgerland. Because, we talked about the expectations in Packerland. I think there is sneakily behind the scenes a preparation for the Badgers to be good this year, to have a very successful season, with the recognition that their schedule is kind of a tough one.
Oh, yeah, big time.
So they see this schedule, but they've recognized, man, there's a chance for a big upswing and a good recruiting class this year with a great recruiting class next year. And Luke Fickell not being cool about 7 and 6, right? Not being cool about that situation. It's a hesitant optimism there. When in Green Bay, you heard Wayne talk about it. It's like, all right, all systems go. if we don't make the playoffs this year, it's a failure. Now, I was surprised that Wayne thinks Jordan Love's a guy, but thinks this year is like part 2 of what he did last year. I thought he proved to all of us last year. But now this is part 2, and I get what you're saying. You kind of have to triple stamp a double stamp in order to be that guy. But I mean, we're going to be giving him a contract here in a couple of weeks, and I'm surprised to hear that maybe not all people think he's already that dude.
Yeah, I like that you brought that part of it up, because I think there's a couple of angles to it, and we were talking to the people that were at the event yesterday, and Wayne kind of looked strangely at me when I said, listen, if you're an investor, over 9.5 wins feels like a nice, easy place to get yourself, dip your toes into the investing waters. If you're a Green Bay Packers fan, because if you're going to tell me they're not 1 win better than they were a year ago, I'm going to struggle to see that. But that was right after, John, you mentioned where now you can have more of the validation. I think if there's any more validation, it's are you a guy that you win because of, or a guy that you can win with? But I think both of those dudes are franchise quarterbacks, right? Like, I mean, you've seen Kirk Cousins, who I think is a clear cut. You can win with a Kirk Cousins. I don't think you're going to win games, especially playoff games, because of Kirk Cousins.
This is interesting.
Like, that floor is there at least for Jordan Love for me.
This is interesting because as you bring up Kirk Cousins and Dak Prescott both have fallen into this incredibly strange category of incredible production, lots of regular season wins, and yet still catch a lot of
yeah buts.
Don't pay that guy. That guy's not good enough. It's, if you looked around the league, there's only like 3 or 4 dudes, guys that you say, man, we have to have him because he will completely change our team. There's only like 4 of them, maybe 5 of them. And Kirk Cousins and Dak sit in that spot where they are somewhere hovering around that top 10, top 8 category. And there are over 20 teams. More than half the league would love to have them. And yet they still catch this unbelievable flack for being maybe not that good. And Jordan Love, there's a reason. I mean, is he ever going to be Aaron Rodgers? No. Is he ever going to be Brett Favre? No. Is he ever going to have production similar to them? Well, maybe. We don't know. Yep. But does that production put him in a level where you feel like he's that dude? Because the worst thing of all is to have a guy like Dak and to have a guy like Kirk and to not know, right? To not know if they're that dude. But Dak and Kirk they're guys that I can't believe Dak's contract is still not done. I can't believe Kirk.
Stunned by it. Yeah.
I can't believe Kirk left to go to Atlanta. I can't believe the Vikings didn't keep him. I'm amazed by that type of stuff.
Kirk, I understand maybe a little bit more, but dude, Dak is 30 years old and was the MVP runner-up a year ago, and they led the league in points. They've won 12 games each of the last 3 years. And there is still the belief like, oh yeah, but you could get better. John, 22, you mentioned 20, 22, 24 teams would scrap their situation right now, I believe, to get Dak Prescott in the building to be their starting quarterback. Right? Like, I mean, you're looking at...
I mean, we might find out.
We might end up finding out. And if he does reach free agency, it's, I think, because he wants to be a free agent and that he would want to go test the market somewhere else. Because to that point, I just don't understand why, unless Jerry Jones is that confident and that hell-bent on the Dallas Cowboys are going to be okay, and that they'll still be able to find another 4th-round dude that can be a MVP runner-up in a few years after being the starting quarterback. I mean, that's just straight arrogance if you think that you're going to be able to hit again like they did when Dak kind of saved their hind parts when Tony Romo quickly fell off the cliff and was unable to get back going. You just think that you're going to recycle that situation. Good luck to you.
And isn't it, and we're going to pull this all back to Jordan Love. Doesn't it kind of make sense? Like, that's the bar. That's the bar you want. Just a guy that you know what you're going to get week in and week out. And 3/4 of the time, it's going to be really good. And 1/4 of the time, he's human. He might struggle, right? Is that not what we need for a quarterback? That's when you hedge the farm on Jordan Love, you need that to be your baseline. Anything over top of that is just gravy.
Yeah, and I just you see what those guys production wise do. They're dudes you win with, right? Like, you can win big time games. Brock Purdy showed last year you can win big time games with him. I don't know that you win because of him, but John, I'm with you that there's like 4 guys, maybe 5 guys, maybe in the NFL that are the generational talent, the one that, and that's even a loose word, right? Like maybe that is 1 to 2 if you're talking about Mahomes and company.
So, and Nick, I'll let you get in because I know you're chomping here, but this is the win with versus win because there are some the difference. Win with means that you are winning because he's good enough to make it work with the guys around him.
Yeah.
Win because is the guy that makes everybody else better, right? Everybody else makes the win with better. Win because is the guy who makes everybody around him better.
Yeah, I was just going to say, are there any win because ofs in the NFC currently? Right, Matt Stafford, maybe. Right, I mean, people are lower on Jalen Hurts heading into this season than they were 2 years ago. We aren't convinced that the NFC champion from this past year, Brock Purdy, is a win because of guy. Jordan Love might be the next guy that could elevate to that level. We have put Dak in the conversation of always being a win with, Kirk win with. There aren't many in the NFC.
Jared Goff win with.
Yeah, right. Yeah. There aren't any in the NFC right now.
Yeah, the Packers offense was so weird last year. And what I mean by that is they were so young, they were so wet behind the ears that I don't think defenses knew what they were facing. Right? I don't think defenses knew, okay, Dontavian Wicks can shake me at the top of his break and take it to the post like Devontae Adams used to and catch the ball and score a touchdown. Right? When they start figuring out the Packers offense, and it's so spread out, and Matt LaFleur spreads the ball around so much, and there's so many different options that Jordan Love, I mean, the game is a little bit easy for him when he has that much availability and Matt LaFleur is in his bag. Those last 9 games, Matt LaFleur was in his bag.
Well,
those last 9 games, those role players stepped up, and Jordan Love, it made it easy for him. And that's why we say, hey, he played as good as anybody in the league. And it can now, if he's win because when the league catches up and starts figuring out something, and there's an ebb and a flow all the time. There's cycles to this thing. And if the league catches up and hits those cycles, then we'll find out, is he win because or is he win with? But either way, we're winning.
Either way, we're winning. And you bring up the yesterday as we were closing up, conversing at the golf event and talking about the Packers season, talking about the Badgers one is how we got into this conversation. John, you mentioned a couple of key things about Jordan Love, the things that you can't measure. You're never going to be able to understand at the combine. You're not going to be able to understand in a 15-minute interview is somebody's character, their work ethic, and the heart that they end up showing. And a lot of those little intangibles, I think those are what separate the win with and the win because of, right? Like those guys, if you are that type of guy, you are somebody that players around in the building look at differently, want to follow, believe that you have their best interest at hand and are going to help make them better. And this being the young team, that is why the vibes are so high, but it also is maybe one of the reasons why we could get the answer a little bit quicker if Jordan Love is the win because I thought he made guys better last year. And if he continues to make some of these young receivers continue to flourish into years 2 and 3, you mentioned Wicks, Reed and company. Oh, we are going to be cooking with gas for the back half of that season. And we're going to be really having some fun come when San Francisco comes to town at the last week in November into that December to remember primetime run of like 5 straight primetime games. Woo! I'm already in for football season. We still got a couple of weeks. Nick Brusewitz is already into his slide. He's already into his grind. You're on the NickLayLaw.com talking text line. People checking in already at 414-799-1973. Hey, thanks, Jay Lebowski. We appreciate you. It was Lou Gehrig for Wally Pipp. We're fact guys here. I don't know why anybody would think that we don't know exactly what we're talking about with 1920s
So
Yankees.
The Bruiser's Lou Gehrig, huh?
It seems like he might be.
All right. Watch out. Armin Wally Pipp Sarian.
Watch out, Armin.
I think he would take that. I think if Armin was here, he would give us a little background on Wally Pipp and his career.
Oh, he would. He'd tell us everything about Wally.
So are you saying precisely because you didn't give us that background and that foresight that you're not actually Lou Gehrig?
No, instead he goes, I'm going to give us what you guys want. We'll start talking football and I'll add in quarterbacks in the NFC. Maybe that'll help out. That's go. Nick Brusewitz is one thing. That's John Coon. I'm Billy Schmid. This is 9 to noon statewide on the Game. 9 to noon on the game. Thanks for hanging out. Billy Schmid, John Kuhn, back in the saddle again, as a great poet Steven Tyler would say. Nick Bruzewitz in here, trying to Lou Garrett, Wally Pipp, our boy Armin Sarian. We still awaiting news from our guy Armin Sarian. Now, maybe during the breaking news show, we will get that information. I was kind of surprised it wasn't during the Steve Zabin show, but let's be honest, he might have been calling, trying to give them the news. And John, they were just in such a haze. We thought we had a long day yesterday. Those boys went and then threw out the first pitch at the Dockhounds game. I don't know if we have confirmation if Zabe stayed for the entire movie, the entire airing of Major League yesterday. We had somebody on the Talking Text line say, Tony from Florida, say, thank you so much for being there, guys. It was so good. Yeah, you're really. I almost just swore there, Nick. I almost gave you a dump button situation.
Watch out on the first day.
First day. You're really messing up if all of a sudden you dip out with like 15 minutes to go after they make the event for you to go and see the movie for the first time. Like that would be me if we had He Got Game viewing and all of a sudden, right, well, Shuttlesworth is trying to cross up there into the final game. I'm like, all right,
he had to watch. He had to. I'm not even going to consider that he wouldn't do that.
That's good. Look for the best in people, John. That's what I'm talking about. We got to think about the best.
Zabe, so he's made me wrong many times before.
Assuming I caught myself.
Assuming Zabe is normal or just as PC goes, if you think he's going to run by any standards, no standard. That 95% bell curve, he regularly runs outside that thing.
He is what they call the outliers, and that's why they only go with 95%ers. How about Kurt from Wausau on the NicoletLaw.com talking text line 414-799-1973? Kurt, this is mean. Nick, what's it like being on a good show for once? No. I don't know why somebody's got to throw that out there. Why does somebody got to do that?
Hurtful.
But what is it like? What is
it great. Like? It's good time. It's, you know what, the vibes on all the different shows are different, right? I mean, it's always nice to feel what it's like to be a part of a different group. And yesterday,
you're doing this. What's the vibe on Mike Keller show?
Hey, here we go. Now we're talking.
Well, we like to stick to the hard facts. Like it's really very much like business related. We don't get too far into the stuff. Our station has a spectrum of which show is more stuff, which show is more sports.
Okay. So what is the business side versus the
it's a great question.
Sports side? Like I'm really confused here.
Well,
say it without saying it. Forget semantics. Give me the real deal.
It's just us girls talking. Come on.
Well, Mike's more inclined to stay on track, right? Like if Mike says we're going to talk about something, we're going to talk about that. I mean, that's going to happen, right? Right.
Are you trying to say we don't?
Yeah.
I'm not saying that you don't.
You said I got the attention of like a squirrel.
And I would say this, that the talking text line is far more active during this time than it is during ours. I mean, we got people weighing in.
Well, that's because people are going to lunch and stuff, right? Yeah. People are doing stuff. People are doing stuff.
Hey, I have a lot of fun on this show. A lot of fun on the Mike Keller show. I've done Drew and KB a couple of times.
Now, that's a different vibe.
Wow.
You want to talk about vibe? That's a different vibe.
That vibe is, I mean, I think it was hot take hump day. I might have done a Monday where it was kick to the balls. And it was like, so we've talked about what? Mac and cheese for the last 45 minutes, which was the best. And
that's a heck of a welcome into sports radio for you. You are getting a full education on what this business is with all different spectrums of shows on this station.
And I met Zabe for the first time today. It was the first interaction I've ever had.
And they gave you your headphones back.
He had borrowed them. Thankfully, I was here. I don't know if I came in, if they would have still been here. I don't know. You guys are speaking to, much
minus 150. They were not going to be here if you didn't show up again here today. There was a good chance those could have ended sliding into a bag somewhere.
But yeah, that was my first interaction with Zabe. I've not done his show.
Good work.
I don't think they would put me on his show. So it's all
I think they might. Who knows? Don't
I
sell
think
short.
With their track record, there's a very good chance you'll be on it in the very near future.
I was gonna say, who hasn't done a tour of duty on that show? I mean,
that is tour duty. You know what that is? That is boot camp. Hey, son, we need to toughen you up.
That's radio boot camp. Yes,
we need to toughen you up for radio. We're gonna throw you here and just kick the snot out of you for 3 hours. That's what we're going to do. And we're going to do it for a couple weeks.
And
then you'll be ready. Then you'll be ready to grow and bloom and blossom somewhere else.
And you really think it's fun? Then we're going to wake you up at 4 a.m. and do it. And it's not even going to get dark. It's not even going to get sunlight until maybe the second segment of the second hour. Yeah. You got to do that in the winter to get a full indoctrination of it. That's how you really roll through. Yes. 100%. It's not even close.
Yeah, Luddy did it, right? Luddy's been in and out on.
I was there. Oh yeah.
They just announced Jamaica today, right? That's pretty interesting.
How about that? That's a good spot for them.
John,
and they're bringing the Whiskey
Jamaica?
Bells.
Listen, I don't want to slander any other country not named the U.S., but I will take Jamaica over Mexico any day, right?
Yeah.
I've been to
With you
every
on that.
spot, up and down the Riviera Maya, up and down Puerto Vallarta. I feel like I've seen all of those spots too many times, and Jamaica's just better. It feels a little bit safer. It feels a little bit nicer, and
Water is so clear.
And give me Caribbean jerk by the people who created Caribbean jerk, right? Like, give me that jerk chicken and all that other good stuff. And that's, I mean, they're going to have some good food down there.
Yeah, that's for sure. And I don't want to speak for John because, listen, we're never going to say no when somebody wants to say, hey, why don't you guys fly to the Caribbean and have some? People want to enjoy a Caribbean vacation with 9 to noon. I think without microphones. I think the 9 to noon trip would be much more served, similar to how Nooner Day becomes even 58x once the microphone turns off.
Nooner Day trip, a one-day Nooner Day trip to the Caribbean.
I don't know anybody can handle 5 days, let alone 7 of a Nooner Day trip. So I think that's one of the reasons why it gets pushed down.
That's the thing too. It doesn't really start until we get off the air at noon. And
Big
then
time.
Nooner, it's just you only have so many hours now. So everybody pushes the pedal all the way to the floor. And by the time the Brewers game is done, you see some people ready to say, I sprinted when I should have jogged.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there were some people finding pillows pretty early. I think that was a safe assumption. Speaking of Brewers, Kenny the Slick Watts fan on the NicolaLaw.com talking text line dropped this one on us. Hey, if you guys talk Brewers, I wonder why Colin Ray didn't get the replacement for the All-Star nod instead of Hunter Green. Yeah, Ray got shelled last night, but prior to that, 3 more wins and a comparable earned run average. All managerial choice. And I'll be completely honest with it. John, you can talk about it from the football side when the Pro Bowl snubs come through. Becomes more and more a popularity contest when it's managerial choice.
Yeah.
A lot of also time it can be who can we give a favor to?
Yeah.
And I think that's a part of this as well. Like
even more than that, I'd like the rest for Ray. And did he deserve it? Well,
it's a good one too.
Definitely could have been in there. But the difference with the All-Star game now and every All-Star game, I hate to say every, but the 3 that I watch, NBA, NFL, MLB.
I don't watch the NHL one either. Don't feel bad.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
I'm glad I'm not feeling
Tim Allen brought up a NASCAR All-Star race yesterday.
No one's watching the NASCAR race, Tim. Sorry, dude. Sorry. Love you, brother.
Tim.
No chance.
But those 3 All-Star games are all, well, first of all, the NFL doesn't even exist anymore. The NBA is awful. And Major League Baseball it's just a celebrity throw out there, right? Like you used to get 3-4 at bats out of guys back in the day. You used to get a real All-Star game. They'd be out there for 3 at bats. The starters would be out there for 3 at bats minimum, maybe get subbed in the 7th or 8th or 9th inning or something like that. And pitchers would go 2 innings. Now pitchers are going 1 inning, absolutely at the most. And it's wild. The All-Star game has changed, and I don't think it's as fun as it used to be.
Well, it definitely doesn't have I think the baseball one still has the most pageantry,
the most,
but it's still less than what 60% of what it used to be, 75% of what it used to be. I'm with you on that.
But this is the crazy thing. Think about it. What do they have? 32 guys going for their first time. Is that what the number is?
It's close to that, yeah.
Or is it 22?
22 to 32. I'll have that for sure number for you.
And then they have a boatload of guys going for their second time. There's a changing in the guard in Major League Baseball with the All-Stars. And you have an opportunity where you could run it back to making that exciting again, because young guys, they want to ball. Young guys, they want to play. And you could throw them out there and have a highly competitive, entertaining game again with that many young guys without subbing them in here. You could have a real All-Star game again. And I don't know. I'd probably be starting Paul Skeens in this thing if I were if I were the manager in the NL side.
Yeah, I'm going to be with you on that. And I'm going to be in the crowd tomorrow to see Paul Skeens. I know the morning show's not liking this. I want my son to be in attendance when Paul Skeens holds his first major league L.
Yeah.
How about that? How about that, Brian and Steve?
and if not, your son's got to see one of the hottest starts in Major League Baseball history.
Yeah. And he's going to have custard. I mean, like, I think
it's
it's
a
going to be a good day.
win, baby.
Yeah, it's going to be a win. Now, John mentioned the NFL All-Star game stinks on ice. One All-Star Pro Bowler in the NFL has an idea that, I mean, you want to talk about a half-baked idea as to how to make the All-Star game and the Pro Bowl a game changer in the NFL. Joe Burrow said, hold my beer. This one is a different one. And it comes up in the midst of the NFL already knowing that there's going to be a change. This one might be even worse of an 18-game regular season idea than anyone else has thrown out. We'll bring you through Joe Burrow's idea coming up here next. It's 9 to noon with John Kuhn, Billy Schmidt, and Nick Brusewitz. Day one going fantastic. Hour two right after this. Hey guys, Billy Schmidt. Over 1 million fans are making money, making picks on Underdog Fantasy. So you got to join in this Major League Baseball season with the MLB Pick'em game. Pick between 2 to 8 of your favorite baseball players. Select higher or lower on player stats like strikeouts, hits, total bases is an option. Scored statistics, multiply your odds. If you want to go for like doubles, home runs, those are obviously my favorite one. But if all of your picks are correct, you win. And if you max out, you can win up to 325 times your money in a single night, legally from your couch in Wisconsin. What's better than that? Download the Underdog Fantasy app today. Get started. It's a super easy app. The statistics are always being updated. You know how close your picks are to hitting. It's one of my favorite apps on the phone. So download it today. Sign up with promo code Billy, BILLY, and Underdog will give you a mystery special pick to use on your first pick'em entry and a deposit offer. That's Underdog Fantasy, promo code Billy. Claim your new customer special of a mystery player pick and a deposit offer. Must be 18 plus and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Visit www.ncpgambling.org. Hour 2, 9 to noon. Brought to you by Happy Place Hemp and happyplacehemp.com. Relax. Hit up Happy Place Hemp for all your hemp-related needs. Delta 8, Delta 9 gummies. Strictly recreational, guys. Recreational Delta 8, Delta 9 gummies. I was hanging out with some guys that were from the Steam Fitters Union yesterday. No Delta 8 gummies if you're going to go to a Steam Fitter job. I'm going to throw that out there for you. However, when you come home, you can have yourself a fantastic event or maybe a weekend and you can really enjoy the couch or maybe a cabin. Maybe it's lake life this weekend that you're soaking in and enjoying. Feels even better with Happy Place Hemp and happyplacehemp.com. Or, if you're really working out, you're trying to get some of those gains coming in here before football season and your muscles are hurting. They got muscle creams, tinctures, whatever your fancy. Happy Place Hemp has the hemp-related product for you, and they have a 25% discount when you use promo code Billy, BILLY, at happyplacehemp.com. All right, 414-799-1973 is the phone number. We have breaking news here from the world of Team USA basketball. The least surprising information of all time. Kawhi Leonard is bowing out of the Olympics, been ramping up for the past several weeks, but is going to be unprepared to play and is no longer going to be on Team USA. Wow. Shocking, surprising that Kawhi Leonard's health, John, is not going to not only allow him to be able to play like multiple weeks consecutively in an NBA regular season, let alone the Olympic Games for Team USA.
Yeah, it does not come as a surprise. And how do you think Paul George feels with that news coming out, right? Okay, Clips, you're going to give Kawhi all that money. You're going to kind of lowball me. And then all of a sudden at the end of the season, I'm going to get 3 years, 50. That's almost in the category of Kawhi per year. So then just give me a no trade clause. No, we won't do that. This is just almost poetic justice. Kawhi's got to bow out because he's not prepared. He's not physically ready to do this thing. And Paul George is just sitting there like, told you guys.
I'm going to enjoy Philly. I want Paul George in Philly to not be a bad situation, but there's just some weird turning around in my stomach, John. You know Philadelphia people a lot better than I do.
You want that to be a good situation?
No, I don't want it to be a good situation. I just have a feeling it's going to get real bad. Right? Like I just have a feeling it's gonna get really bad. He just doesn't seem like an individual that is going to flourish and thrive with Philadelphia 76ers fans and Philly sports fans watching him for 82 nights. Yeah, and for like maybe 65 ones that he plays.
He was in Indiana, and then he went to the second fiddle of LA. Yeah. Now he's going to be under some super bright lights and microscopes there in Philadelphia. And here's the deal: you got 3 All-Stars. Can you keep 2 out of the 3 healthy at all times? And if you get 3 out of 3, that's that's a bonus, right? But can you keep 2 out of the 3 healthy at all times? I mean, Paul George has been injured a bunch, coming off his healthiest year ever. We know Joel Embiid's going to break down at some point in time. And then you got Maxey. So, yeah, I got a feeling this thing's going to
done. He's done the big 3 before. OKC, you missed it there, John.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah, when he gets traded there.
When he went on down to OKC, and he had one of his best seasons
completely forgot about it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. And it was him, Melo, and Westbrook, and it didn't work, right? Dame
knocks him out of the playoffs. Yep.
33-foot three-pointer in his grill.
Yeah. Playoff P is just the best part of it. Like, and granted, he actually had a good run when Kawhi was out in the playoffs, and he was like the best player on their team, and they went around, right? They get to the Western Conference Finals, but there's also like a 4 for 14 game waiting in there, and like that just doesn't blow over in Philadelphia, right? Like, I mean, we sit here, if that happens for a Milwaukee Buck player, we're like, come on, man, are you serious? 4 for 14? That's all we're going to get. Well, coming up next week, coming up next game, we got that opportunity. We're going to come in here and bust through. It just feels like there's a lot of potential kindling there, and it is ripe for a forest fire. And I, for one, will be watching.
Well, if it goes right, do you think they challenge for the Eastern Conference title? Even if it goes right, if everything goes perfectly as planned, all 3 guys are healthy and playing well. Where are they? Are they at the top? Are they better than the Celtics?
I think they're in the mix. I think they give a strong. I think they give a strong feeling. I also don't know that everything, John, can be as good for the Celtics as it was this year, right? Like they're going to miss Porzingis in the regular season and company.
Either that or we just don't know what we don't know about the role players of the Celtics, and they're about to really start lighting it up. They're about to start their dynasty right now. It's one of two, Billy. You're right. It's either they don't get all the breaks, all the bounces, all the injuries on the other teams, and super hot shooting out of Derek White and Pritchard and everybody, all the role players like they did throughout that playoff run, or they just are that, and it will consistently be that. And if that's the case, they're going to be a problem for a really long time.
Oh yeah. I mean, if it continues to roll, like it's a scary thought as to how much and how long they are all locked up. I do know in like 3 years, it's going to be like 450 million. Like they're going to have to move some guys around, but hey man, those are future ownerships problems, future GM problems.
That's
I guess
such a funny situation, right? We're going to sign all these massive deals and then we want to keep you guys around, but I'm going to sell the team.
But I'm going to sell the team.
Deal with that. No.
It does work out.
No thanks.
Because it is more fun to give the money, right? It is always more fun to give the money, sign somebody up to the contract, as long as you don't actually have to pay the contract, right? I think if I was Whit Grousbeck, I'd be trying to do a very, very similar thing right there. 2 days ago, Kawhi's camp reached out to USA Basketball expressing concern, one source said, that he was not going to be able to fully ramp up with his continual knee soreness. The aforementioned from the Boston Celtics, Derek White, is the leader to join the 12-man roster for Team USA. That, though, does take off the fact that this Team USA roster, Steph Curry was talking, we had LeBron James talking, and all. They had like 12 Hall of Famers on that team. Mm-hmm. God bless Derek White, not a Hall of Famer. That is like the only thing that now is going to be a little sad for me as somebody that expects the USA to just dominate and donkey stomp everybody in this tournament, that I don't know Derek White's not going to fit into that realm, because we were going to have 12 Hall of Famers wearing the USA jersey, or potential guys, because Tyrese Halliburton, sorry, you're not a Hall of Famer yet, but your trajectory looks like you could have Bam, one of those moments. Bam's pretty damn good, man.
Well, yeah, he is. But, I mean,
multiple-time gold medalist. He's going to be in the NBA Finals at least a couple of times. Like it's
an
interesting
going to be a Hall of Famer?
Again, Naismith Hall of Fame is different than the
we're just
NHL
out,
Hall of Fame.
Okay, well
they put everybody in the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame. Yes.
Devin Booker's in the Moss Point Hall of Fame already down there in Mississippi, so we don't even have to worry about. I mean, it's Hall of Famer.
Deal.
I'm a Hall of Famer, right? Shippensburg University Hall of Fame. So if that's where we're going, I thought you meant NBA. I thought you were going that route, because there's a couple people that are pretty damn good, but I mean, they got to do a lot more. Anthony Edwards. Awesome. He's got a career to do.
Yeah, he's got a career to do. But I'm like, potential trajectory guys, right? Like
Drew Holiday.
I think Drew's already in.
Wow. Oh, really?
Yeah, I think Drew's already in the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame.
I am one of Drew's biggest capers.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Well, he was really good for a good amount of time. So
it's also tough though, like the Basketball Hall of Fame from the openness is so much different than baseball, where they like don't put people in for years on end. No. In the NFL, where it is like your top 3 to 4 at your position for a number of different years. Like, I mean, Drew, NBA champion, can be a multiple-time gold medalist,
two-time NBA champ,
2-time NBA champion, 2-time NBA All-Star. Like, he's going to be hard to keep out.
That's a good argument. I'm listening to good arguments there.
It's fun.
Plays offense and defense.
Plays offense and defense. He's like a 3-time. This will be a part of the candidacy, right, John? This will be on the resume. Teammate of the year.
Oh, there we go.
He's got a lot of different all NBA defense, second team a couple of different times. Like, he has a better candidacy than Chris Middleton does. And I thought Chris Middleton had a really, really good chance already as an NBA champion and a gold medalist.
Did you guys see, talking about the Olympics, Arkansas tweeted out pictures of Bam, Booker, and Davis on their official Twitter account. Arkansas to gloat Coach K's
guys. Coach Cal's guys.
Yeah,
oh my God.
On their own, on Arkansas tweeted out Kentucky players on their official account to say, yeah, these are Coach Cal's players in Kentucky uniforms.
Well done. Well, because he doesn't have a team.
Arkansas did that about
Kentucky players. Okay. Coach Cal.
Coach Cal. Okay, from Kentucky.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was the most confusing description of a tweet.
Let me try a little bit better. Let me try a little bit better.
Well, I threw in two very misinformations there in the middle of it.
We go do one more. What's going on here, Nick?
Let's let Nick do it without me stepping out.
What did we not see?
What I saw was that Arkansas's men's basketball account tweeted out pictures of the 3 former Kentucky basketball players that are currently Olympians. Coach Cal's players, their current head coach, which I thought was weird. Why is Arkansas tweeting out pictures of Kentucky players?
And that was weirder. Yeah,
because it's their coach now, and you know why? I'll tell you exactly why, Nick. Because whoever runs that social media account was never an athlete. Whoever's running that social media account has been told, get clicks, get views, be polarizing, get all kinds of looks on this
start
thing,
fights,
and that's all we really care about.
Yeah, they want as much engagement as possible, and you know what's going to get engagement? That photo.
You put photo up of Kentucky on Arkansas. This doesn't make any damn sense. I don't care if Cal's our coach now. They weren't our players. Put them down. That's what people are going to say. And then
that's awesome.
This poor little non-athlete is going to be like, well, damn, I thought it was a great idea. I had 6 degrees of separation for why Arkansas could put this up for these players going through Coach Cal. I mean, this makes perfect sense. No, it doesn't. You didn't play sports. Take it down.
Yeah, take it down. Forget about it. Throw it in the idea drawer. Light that drawer on fire, and then let's never revisit it again. That's maybe where this idea that Joe Burrow pitched yesterday on Pardon My Take deserves to go. We're going to get into it coming up here on the other side because it's a strange one. It is one in which people want to save the Pro Bowl. People know the NFL is going to 18 games. How on earth could you combine both of those? Well, Joe Burrow on Pardon My Take had an interesting idea as to where it would just be, where it would land. A very, very interesting description as to how this would change.
I also think we got to get back into this quarterback theory in the NFL of who is a guy you can win with versus a guy you win because there's a couple questions out here about Brock Purdy, Jordan Love, and where they fall in that category.
I like that. Yes or no. A little game right there as well. 414-799-1973. John Kuhn, Billy Schmid, Nick Brusewitz. You're on the NicoletLaw.com talking text line. Let's dive into the NicoletLaw.com talking text line here as well. And Dynasty Talk, Steph Curry had some for his Golden State Warriors. Is he correct? Are they the last one that we'll be able to witness in the NBA? It's 9 to noon. Stay wide on the game. 9 to noon on the game. And John, this might be a John Kuhn segment here in a moment. Just before Nick Brusewitz and I turned the microphones on and hit the music and returned, the fire alarm is going off here in the building.
Oh.
So we had John the engineer, who's on the NicolaLaw.com talking text line. John the engineer is part of the program. But he was running around the hall saying, we need everybody out now. Red Hot Tim Scott in classic working on it fashion goes, well, hold on. Let's make sure. Let's see what we got going on here. So we're going to get clarification here in a matter of moments if we do have to flee the building. But luckily our nooners are all over the talking text line. So if indeed we do, it's going to be a good conversation because people are having fun. Mickey the Fitz, Billy. Wow. Just out here handing out Hall of Fame memberships for Team USA. It wouldn't be the first time they're loaded with all Hall of Famers. Nick and I were just talking about Dream Team, most famous one. Only guy there that's not a Hall of Famer is Christian Laettner, right? Mm-hmm. So, like, it's not out of this realm of possibility that all these guys end up sitting there because the qualifications are also just a little bit lower for the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame because it is all basketball. It's not just what you do in the pros, not just what you do in college. It's all your contributions to basketball.
But half of these guys didn't even play in college or only played 1 year in college. So we are literally talking just about their NBA career for most of them.
Not Tyrese Halliburton's 1 year at Iowa State. That's not gonna be a game changer right there.
So that's interesting because Laettner, I wonder. I mean, wouldn't he have just gotten in from his college experience?
He's in the college basketball Hall of Fame, but not in the Naismith basketball.
So is there an NBA or is it NBA?
Just Naismith.
Yep, just the Naismith basketball Hall of Fame. Entire life versus the college basketball Hall of Fame.
Interesting.
Essentially, yeah, it's an interesting situation. It's an interesting event, and I'll be honest with you. This is maybe just my naivete towards the basketball Hall of Fame. I know Canton, and I know Cooperstown.
Yeah.
I'm not fully
somewhere.
Lawrence,
it's
Kansas,
be in Ohio,
right?
It's in Kansas.
Is it in Kansas?
Why would it not be in Indiana?
Is it in Indiana? Like I don't even know where it is. That feels like a massive miss by them.
Well, okay, so yeah, they should just say the city name. That would be a little bit better. But you know, Van in Milwaukee says Drew is definitely in. He was underrated before he came to the Bucks, and yeah, I do think Drew Holiday was super underrated. I loved watching Drew Holiday down in New Orleans when I was down there. So yeah, I followed a lot of Drew.
Massachusetts,
Springfield, Massachusetts.
Even stranger.
Would have never guessed that.
Okay, well, but I look at it and I could definitely see with career trajectories. A lot, if not all of these guys on there. Likelihood it's not going to be all. Likelihood now that Derek White's being subbed in instead of
it's not happening.
Paul George, which that would have been incredibly fitting for Paul George to be subbed in for Kawhi. But now that Derek White's coming in, you can say Derek White for can I say for sure? I think I can say.
I think you can safely say he's not going to be a Hall of Famer.
Well, it's hard to bloomer.
Say. It's hard to say. I guarantee. And it's hard to say for sure. Let me tell you, if he's basketball Hall of Fame, where we said, oh, maybe we just aren't sure about the consistency of the Celtics. Oh, yeah, that's going to change.
Yeah, that's going to be a game changer.
That's going to That's going to be a game changer. So
that's fair.
Derek White, Drew, I think, is on the fence. I think he's on the fence. Anthony Edwards, not yet. Tyrese Halliburton, not yet. And Devin Booker, not yet. That's what I would say. I mean, I would seriously say that about every, so we'll see how their careers play out, but
Kenny the Slick Watts fan also throws in there, like it also counts in for ABA and things like that, right? So like it is full basketball deals. You start prognosticating careers, and this is where a 414 texter hit us up on the NicolaLaw.com talking text line, John, on our quarterback conversation and the guys that you win because of, guys you can win with. You guys think Brock Purdy falls into the Cousins Prescott category when free agency comes up? Fascinating.
1,000%.
Because, John, they would have to be making that decision now if he wasn't the last pick in the draft. If he would have been undrafted, they would have had to sign him to that deal today instead of a year from now. Yeah, they're not going back on that. They give Jimmy Garoppolo $100 million. There's no way they're not going to pay Brock Purdy once he comes up, I would assume.
Yeah, no, Brock Purdy is 1,000% in that that Dak Prescott, Kirk Cousins category. 1,000%, because he is always, because of where he was drafted, he is always going to be one of those guys that's like, but man, look at his stats. But man, look at his win record. Those are going to be the two arguments by people that say Brock Purdy is a great quarterback. And then you're going to have people say, yeah, but his arm doesn't look strong. Yeah, but he's got great weapons around him all the time, right? That's going to be the back and forth. Yeah, but Kyle Shanahan can mask his inefficiencies. That's going to be the argument there on both sides. And that's a guy that you win with, right? Guys that you win because you can't argue. You can't dispute it. And let's say this. There are like 4 or 5 guys that you win because, then there's another like 5 to 7 guys you win with. And then there's the rest of the league. Then there's about 20 teams that you're like, I don't know. Is he a guy we can win with? Because he's definitely not a guy we can win because. And then you got probably 10 teams that are like, this isn't our guy, but
we got to go with him.
But we're stuck right now.
I have we had a caller from Germantown. I already forgot his name. He wanted to
well
call
done,
and
Nick.
let
Damn,
us
Nick.
know.
Well done, Nick. There you go.
Unknown
Hey,
name.
Mr. Germantown. Appreciate it. He called in to let us know that Springfield is the birthplace of basketball. That's where it was. Springfield,
Is it really though?
Massachusetts.
I thought Naismith did it at Kansas. That's why they named the field house after him.
I thought they took those peach baskets and nailed them up
They
to
did?
trees in Georgia because they were peach baskets.
Like Georgia, the country, or Georgia, the state?
Come on. That was
Come
that
on
was
now,
a foolish
Nick.
thing. What is Georgia known
Well
for?
done though.
What is Georgia known for?
Peaches.
And what were they? Were peach,
And peach
baskets.
trees.
Oh, and hot wings, if you ask James Harden, right? Clubs.
Yeah,
Lou Williams.
Oh, there it is.
That was Lou Williams. Yeah, that was
And
that
James
was Lou
Harden.
Williams I can think of. Yep,
whoever
yep,
could
yep.
get down there, right?
Sweet Lou, lemon pepper
Hey,
wings. You
and
gotta love
Kirk
that deal.
Cousins will fit right in with that crowd, right?
I would tend to believe no. However,
I think Atlanta's going to embrace the hell out of him. Talking about the quarterbacks that they've been dealing with for the last.
He's been
since Matt
training
Ryan.
down there for years, apparently.
well, his wife's from Georgia, so I mean, I guess that makes some more sense. You think Kirk O'Chains is Atlanta style? You think that's hot Atlanta? I guess I'm only judging more of Atlanta and not all of the state of Georgia.
Yeah,
Maybe I should be.
Hot Atlanta, all of Georgia. This is the way I feel about a quarterback. If you're a quarterback and you can get the ball to some players that are on your team, and they got some skill players on the outside now, if you can get the ball to them and you can win some football games, and your team's been in purgatory since the last quarterback left, yeah, they're going to embrace you. It doesn't matter what demographic you are.
Okay, so birthplace of basketball here, Springfield College is letting us know. Basketball built into the fabric of Springfield College. The game was invented by Springfield College instructor and graduate student James Naismith in 1891 and has grown into a worldwide athletic phenomenon as it is known today. So Kansas is just lying and trying to take credit for James Naismith? Is that what I'm hearing here?
Well, not the first shady thing they've done, right? I mean, Bill Self's had a couple of suspensions.
You just made up for forgetting the caller's name with that one, Nick. That was fantastic work.
Well,
that's outstanding.
To be
drop
fair,
in.
I was half listening to you, half
I'm proud of
listening to
you.
the caller.
Yes. Good
But
work. Hey man, that guy
Using
that
two
is
sides,
outstanding honesty too. Let's
using
go.
two sides of your brain is not an easy thing to do, is it?
It's not. And normally at this time of day, I'm not using any part of my brain. I'm waiting for our show to start.
True enough.
That's fair. Yes, he's still working it up.
You
Matt
might
from-
still not be using it. Part of your brain.
What's up with Matt from Sud Prairie? Nick is an idiot. Matt,
Hey,
stop that.
hurtful.
You are. Yeah.
Come on.
Also, Coach G wanted me to know, hey, Billy, Nick is a longtime Steeler fan as well as a Packer fan.
Yeah.
Also, can you send me the number to Milwaukee Weight Loss? It's 262-433-4008. That's the easiest way, or MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com. But I like the fact that, John, we have listeners now that are just trying to throw shade at Nick to welcome him into the Nooner family.
I'm a
I
super
gotta
fan of
reload
John
the
Kuhn,
page.
okay? I've been following him, okay? I was a Steelers fan, and then he went to the Pack. I mean,
That's true.
that's all I'm talking about.
And you like the Saints now too, just a little bit.
Well,
Second
you know
favorite
what?
NFC
Just
team?
enough.
And when I was a small child, they might have been my favorite team. I had a Reggie Bush jersey, and I had a Drew Brees jersey. I love the
Wow.
Saints.
Okay.
I did.
This guy had a Reggie Bush jersey. I played against Reggie Bush. That is hilarious.
So you're a little bit of a football nomad here, right? You kind of walk all around, or do you just?
Yeah, and I landed on Big Ben, and I stuck with Big Ben, and now, Big Ben's gone, and life's a lot worse. So
Okay, so what do you
it's
do
gotta
now?
be tough.
Do you just change your team?
I don't change my team. I'm a
How did
Steelers
you
fan.
live in How did you live in Wisconsin and start being a Pittsburgh Steelers fan? Let me
Let
guess.
alone in
I'm going to
Ripon.
guess. 2005 was the first Super Bowl you watched.
You were wrong. I was 4 when that happened, or 5.
Okay,
when
2008 then was the first Super Bowl you watched.
That is correct. And the first memory I have is
San Antonio Holmes.
Yeah. Right.
And that's what happens.
My brother and I practiced in the backyard a million times. I made that catch over and over again. Probably not as perfect, but I like it.
Congratulations
nice
for that,
work.
because I'll tell you what, the number of kids in Wisconsin right now that are wearing Justin Jefferson jerseys and the number of kids in Wisconsin right now that are wearing Travis Kelce jerseys, it hurts my soul. It hurts my soul, but they are kids.
Yes.
And they are watching Justin Jefferson light the world on fire, and every kid wants to be a wide receiver now. And they are watching Travis Kelce win Super Bowls and date Taylor Swift. So they are rocking his jersey now. And it just hurts my soul that these kids have this great salt of the earth football team right here in the Green Bay Packers. And much like Nick Brusewitz, they want to focus on Super Bowls and ESPN highlights.
Well, I think Jordan Love's going to elevate that next group.
I hope
he'll
so.
Win back to state.
I hope he can win a little bit of it. But to John's point, and Nick, you're like the first run of it. Now, I'm not that much older than you, but I feel like I'm talking to you like I'm a whole generation, which we learned from Jim Nantz 20 years older than Nick at this point. John, it feels like this is a difference of dudes growing up with the fantasy football emphasis on the NFL, right? Like, because you mentioned it with wide receivers. That's one of the reasons why we can have a receiver show.
I think
starting
I had
up here
a
tonight.
fantasy team before I committed to what team I felt was my favorite team. Like, I think I had a fantasy football team when I was 9.
I love that. Okay.
And then by the time I was 11,
how in the hell do you have a fantasy football team before you have
I remember
a favorite team?
I remember.
How do you have a fantasy football team before a
Sam
favorite team?
Bradford on my fantasy team when he was a
Man,
rookie.
these
that's
zillennials and gillennials and all the different things that you have. You guys are wild.
Yeah, I think we're a little different. We're wired.
Oh,
different.
you're definitely
Very
a little
different.
You do
Very
things very
different. But fun though. We like you though. We like the group. Hey, I love anybody that's into fantasy football. I will say though, this year I know some people have wondered. I'm officially cutting down on my teams.
How many have you had, and where you're going to now?
Last year I was at 8.
Okay, that's a little high.
So I think I'm going to go down to about 5. I think I'm going to cut
one.
about 3 or 4.
Right? Do you have the one that you care? Like, I mean, I really care about it.
That's the one
me
that I'm
too.
winning that week. Yeah.
I just that week.
Whichever one I'm winning that week is the one that I'm really, really into. And then I'll start John talking stuff in that group chat. And then once I lose that, I'll stop talking stuff and go to the next one.
I don't have enough time.
Let's co-manage one, John. I'll hop on with you.
I'm doing one.
Split the buy-in.
Yeah, he's in one though. John's a one man guy.
Well, that's good.
One league guy.
I'm doing
He's
one
the
league.
purist.
I've done 2 leagues the last several years. And I think I'm going to jump out of the league with the semi-celebrities that I'm in with. We got a league of semi-celebrities, like just people you wouldn't believe who they were, just random hodgepodge, fullbacks of their careers right here in this league. And I think that's the one I'm going to drop out of, because that one's too hard. These guys, I don't know what these guys are doing. They get every waiver. It's unbelievable.
Whichever league I have the highest buy-in is probably the one I care the most about.
Oh, that's a safe way to go. Yeah.
But I'm in one with my brother, who's 5 years older than me, and all of his friends. And you think the talk and text line is rough on me. I mean,
you just get beat up there.
He's never won. My brother, 11 years, never won. I won in my 3rd year.
Wow. Sounds like your brother sucks at fantasy football.
He really does.
Take that,
He
Nick's
really
brother.
does. Makes bad trades.
That guy's terrible. Matt Milwaukee Coon. This is also the guy that grew up in Wisconsin and became a bleeping Cubs fan.
You're not a Cubs fan, Nick.
Yeah, I am.
Do you root for any of the home teams?
I'm a Badgers fan.
Well, you went to Wisconsin.
Well, you're in Milwaukee right now, so apparently not Marquette.
And I grew up a Marquette fan.
Oh, okay. So you touch those bases. Okay.
I've always repped the state in different ways.
Why'd you go to Wisconsin if you grew up a Marquette fan?
I got into both. I didn't like Marquette as much. That was the reality. I'll be honest. Didn't like it.
What was it that you didn't like about it?
I felt like it was smaller than I wanted it to be. I thought that I wanted to do the giant school.
Oh, I like that.
Even though it's in an enormous city.
True.
It's too small for you.
I think the campus in Madison is a city of its own. I think here,
that's for sure.
Marquette is really nestled right into the city. So it's just different vibes.
Right. Now tell us
when
the truth.
I toured Marquette, I went home that day, told my mom I'm going to Marquette. Then I toured Minnesota, and I thought, I kind of like it here. A little bit more distance.
Oh, so you were just
family.
a fair weather guy. You were going wherever the wind was blowing.
And then I went to Madison, which I was very familiar with, and I was like, you know what? This is the right place for me. It's the right town. They got a football team. That changes things. Come on.
Oh, that'll change. Yeah, no doubt about it.
Figure out a football team.
Curtin Wausau. Nick, Pick a bleeping team, you bandwagon jumper.
I can lay them all out for you.
Mickey the Fitz. Nick is a fair weather fan. Just call him Nick Brewerwitz.
Yeah,
claims to be a Cubs fan, but just loves to celebrate the local baseball team every day with Heller.
I've always loved the Brewers. I've always compared them to a sibling. I've always been, you love one sibling a little bit more than the other. That's how it's been with the Brewers. I've always rooted. If it's not the Cubs, it's the Brewers. I don't care about divisional rivalries in the same way that some people do. That's just a reality.
John, so you're not lying. These guys.
Please, I will kick you off the show right now if you say, no, I always root for the Vikings. If it's not the Packers, it's the Vikings. No. I don't care about stupid division rivalry.
Well, see, that's the difference there. I have never that would be see the tough part there is I am rooting for the home state team when it comes to the Brewers. Right? That's the second sibling for me. I've always cared deeply about all the Wisconsin teams. If they're not my number one, they're my number two. I couldn't care less about the Vikings. Hate them.
Okay.
Don't like the Vikings. Don't like the Bears. Don't like the Lions. Though the Lions are a little bit.
This is awesome watching Nick's Q rating. I think on the talking text line just fluctuate throughout.
That's all right.
And just seeing each one go through.
Coach
I love
G is a fan of me. I know that.
Yeah, and I don't. That's why I like that Coach G just threw it out there. Hey, by the way, this kid's a Steelers fan. Oh, okay. Thanks, Coach G.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for the heads up. Kind of knew that. I listened to the Mike Heller show. I know our listeners do as well. I hear him give you enough crap for that.
What is this JB in the 912? Floppy hay?
Oh yeah, that's the KB description of Cubs fans that they always like to drop, of the khaki short wearing, floppy hat wearing, jersey wide open, spilling over a Schwarber jersey kind of guy over at the Cubby bar.
Gosh.
It's a pretty accurate description, though. It's a pretty accurate description, especially if you get into the bleachers. 414-799-1973. Justin in Jacksonville. As a youngster growing up in York, PA, my earliest memory of football was Brett Favre running around in Super Bowl with his helmet off. He's the reason I'm a Packers fan with zero ties to Wisconsin.
There you go.
So it's been happening, I guess, more than we
Brett Favre was uber loved in Pennsylvania. Uber loved.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Love that.
I had lots of friends growing up that had Brett Favre and Sterling Sharp throwback jerseys. Oh yes.
Okay. Mm-hmm. All right, York, PA. I was unfamiliar with your game.
Listen, I'm giving Nick a hard time. I was a Cowboys fan because I lived right in between where Pittsburgh and Philly was, and I couldn't pick either side because they both annoyed the hell out of me.
I was going to say, so you just
plus the Cowboys. Plus the Cowboys were really good too. And my dad liked the Cowboys ahead of time. I was
makes it easy.
I was groomed to be a Cowboys fan.
I just love this. Brad Sheboygan just posted a video of a guy just changing soccer jerseys in the middle of a game. Live footage of Nick watching all of his favorite teams throughout the year. Bernie from York, PA. Nick didn't go to Marquette because he didn't want to go to the same school as the guy that he's Wally Pipping.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay. All right, Bernie. I see. You thought Nick Bruzewitz was playing the long game with that college choice. We're still waiting. Long process for our guy Armin Sari, and hopefully breaking news on this radio program. But we already know that's usually the program that Nick Bruzewitz hails from, which is the Mike Heller Show in about an hour from right now. Don't go anywhere. As strange of a story as you could find from Las Vegas, Nevada, John, I got a better one for you. Even stranger than that. And we've been sitting here with Joe Burrow hanging out on the ledge.
Got to get into that.
We got to get into that on the other side. Joe Burrow has an idea to fix the NFL Pro Bowl All-Star Game idea, and it might be one of the worst that you've had. It's next 9 to noon on the Game.
John Kuhn here for Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. And how would you like a good Wisconsin dad joke? What do you call it when a cow grows facial hair? It's called a mustache. Yep, that was a good one. And now it's time for a window dad joke. What do you need in order to cook in a sunny kitchen? Well, let's call it shade and bake. I can't help myself, guys. This mind right now is on windows and doors thanks to this incredible deal going on at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Pay as low as $18 per window and $81 per patio door per month. Pella can complete installation with little to no mess or hassle and leave nothing behind but perfect results. Trust me, I had them up at the cottage and they did exactly what it took to get the job done. Again, get as low as $18 per window and $81 per month per patio door at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. So don't forget to tell Gina Della that John Kuhn sent you. Certain restrictions apply. See showroom for details. Offer ends July 31st. Visit PellaWI.com today.
All right, get this. Joe Burrow was on Pardon My Take yesterday. It's 9 to noon on the game. John Coons right there. I'm Billy Schmidt. Nick Brusewitz with us as well on the NicoletLaw.com talking text line. So Joe Burrow joined Pardon My Take, where our guy John Coon has appeared multiple times. One of the, I believe, Grit Week winners, if I'm not mistaken, for John Coon there on the Pardon My Take show.
Oh, all right.
They
drop familiar with that.
They drop your name every once in a while. It's good work. How about this?
I taught them how to drink at Madison Square Garden one time for an Elite Eight game. So
they were not drinking very well, huh?
Well, they got to post a lot of content during those games. See,
sometimes that's fair. Okay, I get that.
And this is like the whole, why don't you social media more and blah blah blah. Well, because some of us, can't always be working. Right?
Yeah,
it's like when you leave the office, you got to be able to turn it off. And God loves Zabe, but he doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
Every time he's out in the open, I got to picture this, I got to video this, I got to take this, and that's the way they are too. So I had to teach him how to drink one time at an Elite Eight game.
Well, I'm glad you did, because I'm in the same boat. There's a lot of times while I'm watching a Brewers game and I think about firing something off, and I'm like, you know what? Maybe we put the bourbon fingers away. Right? Maybe we just put the beer fingers down for just 1 second and hold off. Maybe Joe Burrow should have thought of that before he fired this one off. Now, the idea is that the NFL still inevitably goes to an 18th game, right? There was the verbiage in the CBA. Once they get to 17 games, they can go to 18 games without it being newly collectively bargained. The collective bargaining agreement expires in 29/30, so they could very well go there either way. But we all know that they're going to 18 games at some point. Joe Burrow said, when it goes to the 18th game, there should be 2 bye weeks. One of those bye weeks should be around week 13 for the entire league, with Pro Bowl festivities occurring on that week, similar to the NBA's All-Star Weekend, the MLB's All-Star Weekend, NHL, and such. Not only would it boost ratings for the struggling Pro Bowl, but by adding a second bye week in the extra game, the Super Bowl would then fall on President's Day weekend, giving everyone their day off after the biggest game of the year.
First of all, does the math add up? It might. The math might add up, but I'm not sure wholeheartedly it would.
They would have to start on Labor Day if the math would work out that way.
They would have to start on Labor Day. Mm-hmm. Nonetheless, let's just assume that they run a normal NFL season, have a normal bye, and then have a All-Star bye or a Pro Bowl bye in the middle of the season. So everybody gets 2 byes. I've always said from the get, when we had a 16-game season, Billy, we could still finish the season the week before President's Day.
Sure.
And then if we just added a second bye, we would have been the week before President's Day. Now we have a 17-game season and everything's all kind of askew. And my thing with the 18th game is it's going to happen. And they should have never left the 16th game because that had perfect balanced symmetry in it.
All the math worked out perfectly. Yeah.
They should have never have gone to a 7th team in the playoffs, although we had a great time with it last year
that was fun.
Here in Green Bay. So that was pretty cool. So a lot of these things they should have never done, but they did them anyways. And now that they're at 17, I think they have to get back to 18. I think it's dumb.
I'm with you on that.
It's dumb that 1 year NFC teams get 9 home games and 1 year AFC teams get 9 home games. But, and I'm going to bring this up. Hey, look at the Philadelphia Eagles, where one of their 9 home games is a neutral site game.
Mm-hmm.
So the Packers get a super big advantage over the Philadelphia Eagles this year. That is a huge advantage. So I'd like to get back to symmetry and things being even and equal when it comes to the NFL. And that's the way I'd like to see it be done. This Pro Bowl, the struggle and ratings of the Pro Bowl, if you think they struggle now, put it in the middle of the season and see what happens.
Oh my goodness, John.
Nobody will take a part in it.
No one's playing.
Nobody.
You think guys are dropping out of the NBA All-Star game? They don't necessarily, because they only play 55 to 60%. You can't do that in an NFL game, let alone do it in the middle of the season, right? Like there's really no great way for the Pro Bowl games, whatever you want to call it, to go off without the struggle here, John, of the calendar, right? Like if it's after the Super Bowl, it's even a longer extended break for those teams that don't make the playoffs. Those guys are in full vacation mode. So then I'm going to go out here and start trying to go somewhat max effort and potentially pull something going into my lead up to build myself up for the offseason. Not doing that. And the players that were going through the postseason, their bodies are so much more beat up because they just played 2 to 3, 4 more games. Like, I love the fact that we want to find a great way for the Pro Bowl to be great. I just don't think it's going to happen.
It's never going to happen.
So we should just enjoy what it is and celebrate the guys that make it. At least that's how I feel as somebody that has a sick, twisted love affair with the NFL, and stop throwing out these dumb ideas for it.
Yeah, just have fun with what you do get to see. The Pro Bowl is dead. The Pro Bowl is never coming back. So how do you fix the regular season if you think it needs to be fixed? Maybe it doesn't. Maybe 17 games is the right amount. Maybe one year, teams get, because I don't know. How do you pick the 18th opponent? They picked.
That's a perfect question.
I thought about this hard yesterday. You can perfectly pick out a 17th opponent because the symmetry from 16 was you play everybody in your division twice. You play a division from the NFC once, you play the division from the AFC once, and then you play 2 other teams that finished in the exact same spot that you did within their division the year before in your conference. Oh, we need 17. Oh, perfect. Let's pick the team that finished 1 to 16 in the other league and have them go against each other. How do you pick an 18th? I don't know how you do it, Billy.
I've been trying to rack my brain around it. It does not make any sense whatsoever. I know they're going to do it, and I guess that's where the debate is right now for them. But John, I do sound like get off my lawn guy. 16 was perfect. It was just so perfect to have the quarter pole in the middle of each break. Yeah. It worked out perfectly for Mike to say, you know what, you got to do in the first 4 with the second 4, the third 4, and the fourth 4. Like, that part of it was one of the reasons why I liked it. It was a core 4. It was easy. It lined up, and it just made everything flow throughout. This one's going to be interesting.
What I think's going to happen, I think they're going to get rid of the Pro Bowl altogether. Right? I do. I think that's going to happen. The Pro Bowl games probably going to get rid of, maybe not to that extent, but as a week. And they're going to have 18 games. And then they're going to have 2 bye weeks. And then they're going to finish on President's Day. And then they're going to have 2 weeks until the combine. And then they're going to have 2 weeks to free agency. And then they're going to have about a month until the draft. And that they're going to block out the entire year for the National Football League. Oh, and then guess what? And then they're going to, because there's only going to be 2 preseason games then, they're going to bump camp back, but lengthen it, right? So they're going to lengthen training camp. So they don't, and that's going to be what they give to the players so that they can agree to an 18th game. Look, you're going to do an 18th game, but you're not going to do an off-season program.
Yeah.
You're just going to do a 6 to 8 week training camp.
And do you think they changed the joint practice situation then? Because I'm with you.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I think they're going to have to expand them on that point, right?
Because then joint practices are not going to be joint practices rolling in the games. They're going to be, hey, we got this 6 to 8 week training camp. We're going to go spend a week somewhere and practice against them for a couple days. Oh, and guess what? NFL Network's going to be there and filming it.
Well, thank God, because otherwise we would have to be there, because otherwise we'd have to, because we got to be able to watch it, right? I mean, we got to be able to see some of this stuff. And yeah, the made for TV special, hey, they could air it right during content season, John, because that's what we're in. We're in content season.
It would actually be right now. Training camp would be right now.
It's crazy.
Started, and we'd be getting ready for joint practices next week against the Cleveland Browns.
Oh man, I can't wait. I can wait. However, football season is so close. It is content season. The NFL is trying to change it up. We have some audio from last night's Hard Knocks. Our guy Trey Crosby said it's the best Hard Knocks has been in years. Some of us would disagree on this radio program. You on the NicoletLaw.com talking text line can weigh in as well. Once we get into hour number 3, our investing hour, Coons Can't Miss is 15 minutes away. The Euros are waiting there to be won upon. It's 9 to noon on the game. Hour 3, 9 to noon, features a Coons Can't Miss coming up in a couple of minutes from right now. News on the day. Kawhi Leonard will not play in the Paris Olympics. USA Basketball announcing, reporting coming out from ESPN and Adrian Wojnarowski saying the organization of USA Basketball and the LA Clippers, John Kuhn, Nick Bruzewitz, determined that it's in Leonard's best interest to spend the rest of the summer preparing for the upcoming NBA season.
Interesting.
Giannis
angle there.
Interesting from the Giannis angle. And John, as you know right away, our boy Trey Crosby on your T's and Q's going to jump on that. Say, but I was told from Bucks fans, once again, Bucks may have signed off on it because Giannis wants to do what he wants to do, and they aren't in a position to say no. But the Bucks don't want Giannis playing for Greece. Asinine to think any other way from the organization standpoint. I do think there's a little difference between Kawhi and Giannis, but.
And there is a difference from we would prefer him to not play. And hey, man, you really need to not play because we need to get you better.
Yeah.
We just let Paul George out the door. Now we need you to be like the old school, the Claw. We need the old Claw back.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what and that's only going to happen if you don't go dilly-dally in Paris with this dream team and play 12 minutes a game. And we need real preparation here.
I think I love the fact that they feel enough stick-to-itiveness to go and do it. Like, I wonder and wait, and I do think we are seeing it, John, that more and more teams are going to start kind of pushing back on all the statements and just like whatever players end up doing. I thought you saw that a little bit with Portland last year, right? Like the idea was they're just going to trade Dame to Miami for 35 cents on the dollar because, well, Dame wanted to go there. Like, that's just what you do. Teams are kind of pushing back on that. This one in particular, dude, Kawhi Leonard has not been healthy like since the 2019 championship that he wins in Toronto. I fully understand why, but I am a little bit impressed that they did, if indeed it was an issue from the organization saying, Kawhi, thanks, but no thanks. We got this big new building coming in. We just got these sweet new logos that 9 to noon on 97.3 The Game in Milwaukee found out about like 2 days late because nobody realized that we were actually about boats. No one thought about the ports apparently because they forget that we're from San Diego. Like, they're still trying to make people remember and realize, hey, dude, Clippers are cool. Clippers are fun. We're going to have this great new stadium in Inglewood. We don't need you going and having some more knee soreness after 2 games with Team USA and then having to bow out.
The biggest question I have out of all this, because I was wondering who's going to bow out. I was wondering
somebody was going to bow
out because we questioned Giannis. Why should he bow out if nobody else bows out? Why should he be the only one to say no?
That's fair.
My biggest question here is who picked Derek White? This is not a shot at Derek White, but I'm curious, was he the first alternative option? I mean, you can just look at the Celtics and say, Jaylen Brown, maybe? Like, what was it about Derek White that made them go, he's the first choice? Or was he like the 12th choice and they went down they're calling guys, no, I wasn't your first pick. I ain't doing it. No, I'm sore. I can't do it. It's like the quarterback for the Pro Bowl when they still played, where you went down and you had Tyrod Taylor playing in that thing.
Yeah, and all of a sudden Tyler Huntley's getting in there with 2 touchdowns and 6 picks. It had to have been somewhat similar to it. Like that had to be a part of this conversation.
And that's not a shot at Derek White.
No,
because he had an outstanding playoff run this year.
But Nick and I were talking about it during one of the breaks, like Micah Potter, Nigel Hayes, Pajemski from Wisconsin playing with the Warriors, the rookie. He was going to be potentially like in the mix because he's already training with those guys. Like, I thought it would just be one of the dudes on the reserve roster.
Was Derek White on that? What do they call that?
He wasn't.
The USA
Premier
Select.
Okay.
Yep. There's apparently a 16 or a 17-year-old that has been lighting up.
Cooper Flag.
Lighting up these NBA stars.
Yeah, Cooper Flag is having some fun there for the Select team. He's letting everybody know that he will be the number 1 pick in next year's draft, and you're not going to want to miss out on having a chance to get Cooper Flag.
If he absolutely here's just an off-the-wall thought. If he absolutely destroys these practices, does he skip his freshman year to not get injured?
People
are already calling him the number 1 pick.
Yeah, he's going to be the number 1 pick.
And people are already saying it. Do you just sit out an entire college season? Where is he going to college next year? Is it Kentucky? Duke.
Coach K's not there anymore.
He's got a good amount of cash coming.
What do you mean Coach K's not there? Do you think I cared about Coach K at Duke? I didn't like either of them. I didn't like Duke. I didn't like Coach K. I didn't like either of them.
Well, I was just saying he's not there anymore. So it's not the same though. I'm saying for Cooper's sake of things. Like if he's going to Duke and it's not Coach K coaching him, it's a little worse.
Well, no, but it is still Duke. They're still on TV more than Leave It to Beaver. I mean, I think that is still
Leave It to Beaver. I don't know. I'm going to be honest here.
You get one more of those, 3 a day, Nick, before you catch the old boot in the ass.
Why don't you ask Mike Heller about Leave It to Beaver? He could actually tell you about episodes. But that's made from a person in college basketball taking a dig at Duke. It's Duke. They're bigger than everything else. They're on TV more than Leave It to Beaver. Rerun show, episodic television show, comedy, good wholesome family comedy from way back in the day. But that Duke team is going to be outstanding. Con Knipple going to be a part of it. Cooper Flagg absolutely going to be on there. I'm with you, John. Like Derek White, congratulations, man. Red, D, white, and blue apparently for the Team USA as they add him, and they've made it official already. Like he's there, and they sent it in there. So
I saw the official, and I just thought, wow, that's amazing. That's just one of those guys that one of these things does not belong here. One of these things is not the same, and he's an NBA player, and he's a very good one, and he will be up for a big contract coming up very soon, and he will get that from a team somewhere around the NBA. He's a very good player. I don't know if he's one of the 12 best players in all of America. The United States, I should say.
Do we want to get cryptic here? Jaylen Brown 1 minute ago on his Twitter account posting the 3 emojis with a eye or the smiley face looking through a monocle. A pondering situation. Looks like
is it smiling face or is it rubbing the chin emoji?
There's no rubbing the chin, but it's just looking at it with a side eye through a monocle.
Okay, I gotta look this up. See, I'm telling you
through a monocle. Like, I mean, now you thought Leave It to Beaver was an old statement here, Nick Brusewitz. I mean, throw a monocle on somebody. I don't know anybody's been rocking that since the middle of the 70s or 60s, but Jaylen Brown already getting people in his comments. Should have been you, man. Oh no. Maybe we should have had the finals MVP. Maybe next year, bro. Oh, that could be fun. I like the fact that we could get a little drama for the Celtics after everything's been too good for them. We need this thing to get spiced up.
I don't think people know how to appropriately use emojis anymore. Right?
That's fair. There should be a training camp.
Jaylen Brown, wrong emoji. That makes it look like you're looking at this with a side eye. Like, man, really? Him, not me? No, this is Jaylen Brown trying to say, excited for my dog. I see what's going on here. Check it out. Peep this, people.
Oh, so he's trying to be happy.
Oh, yeah, I think he likes it.
Okay. Yeah, see, I mean, that's the cryptic story. At least I know now when people are happy or sad on social media because of what they do. Like, right, Brandon Ayuk posting again, apparently Jaden Daniels practice footage with the Washington Commanders. We already know he's unhappy, right? Like, thank you for doubling down on that. You stop following people of the organization. We know you're unhappy. You just throw something cryptic out like this, Jaylen Brown. We don't know.
Cryptivity. I like that.
I like that.
Keep it cryptic.
Keep it cryptic,
people. We
should throw that on a t-shirt. Make 150,000. Then what? 414-799-1973. Shams Charania, also news of the day. Minnesota Timberwolves all-star guard, who will now most likely be the starting 2 on the Team USA, Anthony Edwards. Multi-year contract with Adidas that sources say reaches 8 figures annually. Significant deal, and he is now the face of the Adidas brand. We'll see how our guy Damian Lillard feels.
That'll help with the baby mamas. That little extra contract money he's got.
Oh, Anthony Edwards running in the Tyreek Hill business, or what?
He's got a couple of problematic storylines out there. You know, women saying, "Hey, this is your baby. Look at it. Looks just like you."
Wow, I was unfamiliar with the Anthony Edwards game. Okay,
they look like him. And some texts too. Some texts have been posted. I got an Anthony Edwards T-shirt a couple weeks ago. It's a big, just his head on a black T-shirt.
Oh, okay. So supporting one Minnesota team here, John, for Nick.
Why in the world would you?
So the NBA is different, guys. We all know it. I root for the Bucks. I root for the
What
Bucks.
do you mean we all know? We don't all
know the NBA's different.
We don't all
Hey,
know what you know because I don't know if you know anything.
Billy will go to bat on any day for LeBron James. He likes LeBron James. He's not going to pick LeBron James over the Bucks, but
he's
loves
also
LeBron
not
James.
going to get a LeBron James shirt with just his face
With
on
just
it.
his
might.
face on
He
it.
might.
No, I'll get a jersey before I get LeBron's face on.
There's
it.
a lot of
jerseys are a
people that
little bit
say
more
I'm not going to
expensive.
put another man's name on the back of me.
Well, I
And
have.
yet you're putting another man's face on the front of you.
Yeah,
That's a
yeah.
good point. That's a good
I
point.
think
I try to
face
keep
on the
men's faces away from the front of mine too.
Yeah, I think faces is tougher than name, John. I think I'll rock a jersey far more times than I'll rock the face on a shirt. Although I do have a People's tight end shirt that has a caricature of George Kittle on it.
Oh.
So I mean, like maybe I am in that same business. Maybe I am floating in those same waters. That's fantastic. 414-799-1973. Cleaning up before we get to our Coons Can't Miss on the conversation that we had on the other side. Just discussing this idea that if the NFL goes to the 18 games, which we already know is going to happen. John, this year we saw 60-some quarterbacks end up playing games in the NFL. The injury rate is something that at least the league wants to discuss when it is convenient for the league in negotiations, or when they can say, oh yeah, actually we've seen no issues with injury rates being higher for Thursday night games and Sunday games. We've done all this research on it. So just believe us. I don't know exactly if any of that is comprised in the thought process, if only dollar signs are being brought in here. But at least the 2 buys seems to be enough of a conversation that it feels like a prerequisite will be dropped in once they go to the 18th game.
They will make a lot of exceptions and they'll find ways to win. This is what the owners do. This is what, DeMaurice Smith and the players union has been trying to defend this whole time. Hey, I have this beautiful apple in this hand. Isn't this what you want? All you have to do is give me that little orange over there, and we'll just swap this whole thing out. The NFL will find a way to get to 18 games. They'll most likely give a second bye. They will most assuredly take away another preseason game, and they will probably get rid of this OTA IPW season and expand their training camp. And then they will find ways to televise that as well. And they will find themselves 18 regular season games plus an extra playoff game with the 7th seed on each side. And they will have all this time built up, and the players will be convinced that it's the way that they like it, because they will start a little bit later and they won't have as many weeks, or they'll have exactly the same amount of weeks of work throughout the year as they normally would. And that is what the NFL does. And that's what they're going to basically end up with. And injuries will continue to be injuries, because 2 buys sound great, but it's not going to limit injuries, because guess what? With an 18th game, you most assuredly are going to have more injuries.
100%. And the other fact in this conversation that continues to come up with moving the season back, how many people actually get off on President's Day?
Yeah, I didn't know that was a holiday.
The NFL throws this out here like it is.
Should we do a poll?
Yeah, but like, John, I think it's a runaway for people that don't, at least like on the talk and text line, like Sushi and the Pulse, because everyone gets President's Day off. Wes, Ben, Chris, LOL, Joe Burrow thinks regular people get off of work on President's Day. I didn't realize that it was as much of a day off. I hope it is. Like, I mean, I'm always advocating for it to be off.
I've been hearing for years, we need to have the Super Bowl the day before President's Day. And if we, okay, the poll's up. Do you have off President's Day? Go ahead.
Good call.
9, the number 2.
Yes.
Go hit it. But I've always heard this, and I've always wondered, okay, well, I don't ever remember President's Day. I remember having off of school, maybe for President's Day.
I remember like we got Martin Luther King Day off maybe in the final few years that I was in school.
Wow, you didn't have MLK Day off?
No,
Oh,
for
we
like the
always had off for
majority
him.
of the majority of my
He
school
was a
years,
savior for
Yes.
us, because he was a savior for us, because we always had off for MLK.
Yeah, well, luckily we started honoring what MLK did here at high school.
I'm not so sure I had it off until my junior or senior year.
Yeah, like it was, and that's where I only remember President's Day as like a day that you were getting good deals on TVs and couches.
Can somebody explain, and this is just, again, my being naive, President's Day, did that used to be Abraham Lincoln Day, Abraham Lincoln's birthday? Because I believe we used to get off for Lincoln's birthday, Martin Luther King Day. Like, we got off for
Man, you
weird
guys were
stuff
getting
back in the day.
everything off.
And we also had to wear Speedos in swim class that other kids wore before. So
you were close here.
It's a fair trade.
You were close here. President's Day, officially Washington's birthday at the federal government level, is a holiday in the United States celebrated on the third Monday of February, often to celebrate those who served as presidents and honoring founding father George Washington at that time.
Okay, yeah. So that was it. Washington's
I
birthday.
also like that it was Washington's birthday, but then we just decided we're just going to keep it on the same Monday.
Yeah, so
then it's kind of his birthday, but not his birthday.
We're no longer going to call it George Day. We're just going to call it President's Day. Honor all the presidents out there, but it's on George's birthday. He will get to keep that.
And Lincoln's birthday was February 12th. So if you guys were getting that one off, then President's Day off, I mean, that was like back-to-back weeks that you'd be able to get a 4-day school week, which would have been sweet.
I always knew there was one of those presidents that got ripped off. It turns out it was Lincoln. I thought it was Lincoln that was getting honored, and George got ripped off. But I mean, you can argue. One did one thing, one did another. Both very important.
So George Washington born on February 11th. Abraham Lincoln born on February 12th. So let's put President's Day on like February 18th.
Yeah.
Okay.
12th,
interesting.
Right?
Got it. All right. Interesting. Got
that could be Valentine's Day every once in a while, right? If you're going to celebrate, you can celebrate Abraham Lincoln's birthday and Valentine's Day.
No.
Why not?
No, 14th.
14th is Valentine's Day.
Bro, you don't even know Valentine's Day.
Well,
every year.
Tell me you've never dated a girl without telling me you've never dated a girl.
I'll wear it. I'll wear it. I got some wires crossed there. Tell you what.
You're staying with your girl for this next couple of weeks while you're
this is great. It's like working it's like working with Butchie again. It is. I got some wires crossed.
Yeah, I got a couple
for the
wires
fourth
crossed.
time today.
Hey, my girlfriend gets Valentine's Day early. Maybe that's not a complaint.
You're handing out Valentine's Day every day, huh?
Hey, you know what? Maybe I am.
He said, you know what? You better believe I am. That's kind of like John Kuhn. We talk about handing out wins with a Kuhn's can't miss. Every day is a winning day.
Yeah, you should have bet big. You should have bet bold on Monday when I gave my can't miss. More on that in a moment. But first, I got to tell you, if you're missing the Euros right now, if you're missing Copa America right now, down there at Potawatomi Casino Hotel Sportsbook, make your way down there. Talk to Luis. He said it's absolutely jumping with the 2,000 square foot LED curved screen. All the seats are filled. All the bar stools are taken. So get there early and take advantage of trying to watch yet again some more incredible Euro action. The Euros are in the semifinals right now, and it doesn't matter if you want Brewers, they'll have that on another screen and another screen, another screen. The 2,000 square foot is so big you can literally have every sporting event on simultaneously, and that's regularly what's going on down there. But go down there for the Euros because it gets wild. Monday, Spain to advance. I told you I had a sneaky suspicion, and I should have taken him to win it outright without going to extra time, without going to goal kicks there. I should have taken that one. You'd have gotten a little more juice for the squeeze. But nonetheless, I said Spain to advance. We got that. That one went through. So now today, it's picking between the Netherlands and England. Which one do you want? Which one do you think is going to do it? The Netherlands are a sneaky good team. They're sneaky. Well, Nick, you're the soccer player. Why don't you tell me what you think of the Netherlands?
Yeah,
Come on,
you know
Nick.
what? The Netherlands, they're one of those teams that every year they're always in it, right? They're always going to be in the battle.
The
right?
Dutch, yeah.
They're not afraid of other nations. You know, they're proud. They're proud people, and pride is important when you're out on the pitch, right? That's what we call it in soccer.
Legit breakdown. Let's go.
We call it the pitch, right? So, hey, I'm impressed by the Netherlands for being where they're at. You know, we're talking about per capita, different things when we're talking about breaking down the socioeconomic status of these nations. So
but you only need about 15 guys on a soccer team. That's about all you need.
That's fair. Yeah.
It's tough. It's tough. If you're the Netherlands, you're always fighting an uphill battle. All these other countries that think they're superior to you.
I feel like the Netherlands got big guys, John. From a very untrained soccer eye, I watched like a good 20 minutes of that match where they came back and won when they were down 1-0. 1-0, pardon me.
They're notoriously big. They're notoriously a large team.
They were large, dude.
Very much like Germany. Very much like Germany. They go out there with a couple big intimidating guys. But England's fast and England's good. And England, it's been a little bit of time, hasn't it, Nick, since England has won the Euro?
England stinks from what I know in soccer. Don't they always just lose right at the end, Nick?
No, they don't stink. They're very good, but it's been forever since they won a Euro.
You know, Billy picked me up right where I was going to take it. Right? They don't win. I see Aaron Nagler, our guy, all the time.
Nags does get hot
on X
he
saying,
gets pissed.
England, figure it out. And
Nags is
they
always
never
upset
can.
about it.
They can never figure it out.
Well, I'm picking England today. I think they're going to. This is generally where those sands in the hourglass run out for England. I don't think it's here. I think it's in the final, and that's going to be electric. England. Can you imagine the pubs? Can you imagine the pubs in the entire island of the UK? It's going to be going insane. People in Scotland will be rooting for Spain. People in Ireland will be rooting for Spain. People in North Ireland and England and Wales, they'll all be rooting for England. It's going to be a UK fest going on when they take Spain on in the championship, because they're going to get past the Netherlands once again. England to advance, just to advance.
England first entered the UEFA European Championship in 1964, have since qualified for 11 tournaments, tied for 4th best in finals appearances, but their best result is as runners-up in 2020. Mm-hmm. So they're still sitting there for that elusive, illustrious win. I'm sorry, our friends from England. Too close to the 4th of July. It's too close to the 4th of July. I feel like we got to continue to battle back there. But listen, Dutch are nice people. England, fun people. Should be a fun one coming up here today at 2:00 for that Euro match. And if you're going to watch it, you might as well watch it at Potawatomi Sportsbook, because it is the best place to be watching sports, especially in the middle of the day. I mean, especially for a happy hour sport. Potawatomi Sportsbook, best place that you can be finding.
All right, real quick. I mean, these are very initial early results, but do you have President's Day off?
Thank you.
Over 100 votes already, 75% roughly saying no. We need to stop the lies and the fake news that President's Day is a national holiday, because our 9 to noon poll is factual. Probably interviewed more people than CNN.
Brad Sheboygan, only vacation for bankers and federal employees. But Curtin Grafton said, as a mailman, always off on President's Day. So we are big with mailmen, right? Mailman Jeff loves himself, obviously, now that day, but it's an interesting spot. We're just getting so many outstanding messages as our friend Nick Bruzewitz gets introduced and indoctrinated into the Nooner lifestyle. We'll roll through some of those coming up. We also got to talk about Steph Curry saying that the Golden State Warriors are the final dynasty that we're going to see in the NBA. Is that a good thing or is that a bad thing? You agree or disagree? We'll have that conversation on the other side. John Coons right there. I'm Billy Schmidt. You're on the NicolaLaw.com talking text line. And Nick Bruzewitz in for our guy Armin Sarian doing a bang-up job. Don't let this talking text line tell you any differently, Nick. It's 9 to noon on the Game. 9 to noon on the game. Thanks for hanging out with all of us statewide. Coming up this week, I know there are many people that are waiting for this, anxiously awaiting. Video game players have been anxiously awaiting for College Football 25 to finally be released coming up next week. Now, if you're one of the early individuals, you're going to be able to play on July 15th. Otherwise, you're going to have to wait till July 18th. Now, Nick, you've taken a lot of arrows. Nick Bruzewitz is in here with myself, Billy Schmid, John Kuhn. It's 9 to noon. He is in now for Armin Sarian for the foreseeable future, as we're still awaiting, but noon to 3 probably when the breaking news fires up. Nick, you're gonna be able to get yourself some points here with the Nooners. You're fired up for College Football 25, correct?
Incredibly fired up.
Okay, good. There we go.
The disappointing result of me being in Milwaukee for the next couple of weeks is I don't have my PlayStation with me. So I will buy the game. I will have it ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
But at this
that seems like an easy solve.
I feel like you could drive an hour and a half there, drive an hour and a half back, and then
get your PlayStation.
You know what, guys? That's a great compromise.
By the way, where are you staying?
I'm at my girlfriend's. Yeah, so she lives here in Milwaukee.
Oh, so you do have a girlfriend?
Yeah, of course, John. Seriously, look at
he said, "Of course." Come on, John. Look at this kid.
Who didn't get anything on Valentine's Day?
Oh, she got a lot on Valentine's Day.
Hey,
you got it 2 days
every day is Valentine's Day.
That's what every day. You know what? I bought her flowers last night. I did.
Look at you trying to break the curve here on July 9th.
Why would you buy flowers on July 9th?
Well, you know what? It was a thank you for letting me stay at your apartment for the next 3 weeks while I fill in.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Hey, you guys are
Bruzewitz here. That's what I'm talking about.
True.
Okay.
That is
you guys are going to find out really quick if you're a match.
That's fair. Yes. There's a couple of ways. You find out how well of a match you are. And one of my best friends just did this with his girlfriend, who John, they met at my wedding. So if you can already put those 2 and 2 together, that was about a month ago. They're dialed in. They're locked in together. They took road trip together. Road trip, spending a weekend in living in someone's close quarters. Those are the ways you're going to find out if you're a decent match or not.
Why dilly-dally? Why waste any time here?
Figure it out quickly.
Why have they moved in together yet? Seriously, come on.
Next month. Or this month, I think, at the end of the month. You can
simply test this thing out and find out if you're compatible. And if not, quit wasting time. I think the big question here is finding out this pertinent information is what lasts longer, your relationship with your other or Armin's paternity leave. Which one lasts longer?
Oh, that's a good question. That's a fair question. Now, Nick, you guys have been together for quite some time, right?
Yeah, just about 2 years.
Okay. Oh, so you're...
Yeah, but this is completely different.
Yeah, this is different, though.
I've stayed here before. I did a 10-day stay during...
You've had sleepovers is what you're saying.
Sure, yes. Plenty of sleepovers.
He said,
I was
John,
here
my mom listens to this
for
show.
the Sunburn Bowl. I don't think she does, actually. I mean, she should, but I don't
she should listen to the show. She should listen to the show. But don't worry, Matt Schneimann's mom doesn't listen to the show either. So she only listens during 6 to 7. So
yeah, talking about Schneiman, dude's just been playing golf every day. I see it on his Instagram story.
Look at this kid just completely dodging the question. Okay, so you guys have had sleepovers before.
Yeah,
I've stayed in the quarters.
12 days when I was here covering for the Sunburn Bowl in February. So we've done the extended stay before. Plus her 4 roommates. I mean, there's 4. Three roommates. There are 4.
Hold on here.
Non-Abbies in the apartment. 5 total people, including me.
In one apartment?
Yeah, it's like college.
How many
house
bedrooms?
On Oakland.
How many bedrooms?
So everyone's got their own bedroom, or
yeah,
are we?
Yeah. So it's 4 bedrooms.
I was gonna say this was gonna become a very, very different conversation. Okay, sorry.
4
go ahead.
bedrooms.
Yep.
Her roommates, 2 of them on the top floor, 2 of them on the main floor.
Main floor. Okay. Wow. This is fascinating. Is
this a sorority house? Yes or no?
No, it is not a sorority house. They're actually 2 gentlemen, part of their roommate group. Yeah.
So wait, how many people are living in this place?
4 people, and I'm the 5th now. For the
next 3 weeks. 4 people, 2 girls, 2 guys.
2 girls, 2 guys.
Or is there a co-ed floor, or is it strictly
separated? Co-ed floors.
Wow.
Okay.
You are handling this much better than most men in the world.
What are you talking about? What am I? Seriously,
so much better.
Seriously. Your girlfriend.
What am I supposed to be
bunks up with 2 other men?
I don't see the issue here.
Actually, I'm not going to lie. This you're definitely lasting longer than Armin's paternity leave.
Definitely.
Because you need to be there.
Yeah.
You need to be there. You're going to make this is making your relationship better.
Well, to be fair, guys, the one pair of guy and girl formerly dated that lived there. So I mean, it's kind of like
whoa. So you have a former couple living under the same roof in this common area, which some people are calling a swinger pad. But go ahead. Sorry. So we have
I think they also call it a hostel.
Yeah. Brothel.
Yeah, brothel.
So wow.
Yeah.
So a former relationship is still under the same roof.
Yeah.
This needs to be reality television, John.
That gets interesting because when they go out and date, then the other one knows exactly.
They're knowing.
Yeah, it's really awkward.
And do you try and beat the other one's score? That's the question. If you
they kind of argue like they're still dating. I mean, they're fine. They dated.
We need cameras in this house, dude. Like, I mean, if people are watching Joe Shane calling Saquon Barkley and getting 3-word answers on Hard Knocks, people are going to watch what is happening in this apartment that Nick Brusewitz has now just found himself in for the next 3 weeks.
I think real world Greenfield is again. It's Greenland.
It's Greenland. This is outstanding. I am so excited. 414, Jake 414 sounds like a Seinfeld episode where Jerry dates a girl with a guy roommate, made her kick him out, and he had all the good furniture in there. Now, Armin would love the fact that your life is turning into a real life Seinfeld episode.
Yeah, it's pretty chill.
This is awesome.
It's pretty chill, guys. Let's be honest here. I mean,
seems like it. Yeah.
A couple of good guys. One of them already has a girlfriend.
This is how I know we're nearly a generation apart. Guys and girl roommates, that's an interesting dynamic.
That's a different one.
I don't know if it's one that I could go down. I applaud you. I applaud you. See, co-ed bathrooms. Now one needs to go to the bathroom while the other one's showering.
Doesn't happen.
Oh, you don't think it happens?
It doesn't.
That's the whole point.
It doesn't.
That's the whole point of this being an awkward situation.
Brad Sheboygan, is there an upside down pineapple on the front porch here of this apartment complex? I don't know. I don't believe so. We are wondering though, because Adam from Edgerton said this is just a never-ending cycle of concerning information about Nick.
It doesn't stop. It does not stop. And he's like, man, it's cool. It's chill. It's chill because you're living there right now.
Dude. It's all good.
But you don't know what it's like the minute you walk out that door.
Oh my God. Nick, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for this information. I mean, like this.
I like to be honest, and I'm an open book. I'm a very transparent guy.
Wow, and that's very transparent, and I imagine there's a lot of transparency in that apartment complex. A lot of transparency, John. A lot of open doors.
The shower curtain is transparent.
Not quite.
Just the silhouette. You only see the silhouette. Silhouette's enough sometimes. Sometimes that's all you need is the silhouette. You can really find out the way somebody's.
You know exactly what you're seeing. You know what the hourglass looks like. Do the days of our lives. Holy cow. What a day. What a day. I don't know how on earth we're going to be better than this coming up tomorrow, but we always are. We always somehow jump up from where we were today. Performance on 10. Here today. Nick Brusewitz doing a fantastic job. John Coons right there. I'm Billy Schmidt. You're all over the NicoletLaw.com talk and text line. No clue how we're going to find a final take of the day because they're all so fantastic here today. But we're going to try to before we hand it off to the Mike Keller Show. It's 9 to noon on the Game. Drop it like it's hot. Interesting decision after the conversation we had on the previous segment for our friend Nick Brusewitz, who joins us here today and for the next couple of weeks on 9 to noon, John Kuhn, because the barrister need a segment while Armin's out. Bedtime with Bruiser. Eric from Waukesha. Sleepover at Nick's. I'm in. Definitely seems like a very, very interesting time. And that there could be some dropping it, like it's hot. But Maggie from Georgia said, I had 2 guy roommates. We were truly just friends. It was a great house with a pool. I loved it. Okay, Maggie from Georgia, we had a pool at this house. I'm going to like most pools that I'm living in, John, or houses, John, that have a pool if I'm living in one. Not necessarily matter what, but that's going to be even more fun.
Maggie's the best. She is always,
so nice.
Just right there to go down the same route as Armin and Nick and just say everything that they do is just fine. She's been there, done that. She's had a great time living with men in a house before she was married, and it had a pool. It had a pool. Like, how are you going to?
I'm sure those guys
had a great time too, Maggie.
Scott from Madison. Bruiser's not a loser. Not a loser. Missing the fact that he's staying with two women, standing ovation, dude. Wow. So you're getting a lot of points here today, Nick, on the Talking Text line, which is good. We want you to shine, right? Because sometimes it feels like Mike Heller is just consistently taking swings at you, swinging above the belt, maybe every once in a while below the belt. So we just want to be able to make sure that Nick Brusewitz is standing on his own 2 feet and making sure that you're continuing to reach for those stars and allowing yourself to flourish.
Well, I appreciate that, guys. I really do.
Great work here today.
I can feel neglected at times and on other programs. And
sure.
Today, nothing but warmth from you two. It's always been kind.
How about this one from 262? Next year, Nooner Day at Nick's girlfriend's apartment.
Ooh. I still don't know. You know what? Maybe there's a lot of insecure.
I don't know if there's enough
there.
room in Nick's apartment for us to have Nooner Day 6, because I mean, John, I don't know that we're fitting 300 people in here if it's only a flat for 4 individuals.
It's gonna be tough.
That's gonna be too tough.
Yeah, so it's it's one of those homes. There's an apartment on the bottom floor and then the top floor.
Yeah.
Right? She's got the top floor with her roommates, and then it's 80+ degrees in there on a daily basis. That's the bigger issue here. I'm telling you guys, that's the bigger problem.
80 degrees every day, huh? So probably like a lot of there's no air conditioning. I have to. I'm being a cutoff or something like that.
You guys
414-799-1973.
Trying to dive in and make
deviation done.
Kuhn
and Billy have thoroughly roasted and annihilated Nick. He's already on his way back to his girlfriend's house to set up surveillance. I don't know. Maybe he's not. Maybe, you know what? We should all just be smarter and feel better. And Schwartz Center said that UW education, John, really on notice with our friends Brian Butch and Nick Brusewitz potentially.
Hey, if you're going to include me and a McDonald's All-American in the same conversation, I'm okay with that.
That's good work.
You know what?
Good spin zone. Good spin zone, John.
And Eddie from Dallas thinks he hurts my feelings. I'm not the one texting you, buddy. You didn't hurt anyone.
Oh no, that was right here. That was messed up. That was very messed up. But there's just a lot to what we've gotten into throughout the day here today. I mean, it has been a never-ending course of twists and turns, and I, for one, am a huge fan. Our Quick Trip takeaway of the day brought to you by Quick Trip. Need something for dinner tonight? Do not cook. Stop by your local Quick Trip, pick up a freshly prepared, absolutely delicious take-home meal. Nick, they might even find there. Guy's on his game. Then when you go to Quick Trip, you're going to not only be embraced with a warm, comfortable environment, fantastic food, great individuals, great staff. You're also going to know that you're in a place of home. And John, I think our takeaway of the day here today is Nick's going to be right at home in that producer seat for the next couple of weeks while we wait for Armin to come back.
Like it or not, here you are.
Get ready, because here it comes. I mean, it's hot and heavy. We were joking about it during the break. I said, Nick, hey, you're doing a great job. I said, oh, I know I am.
Yeah.
We need that confidence. We need that bravado to continue, because John, we're going to keep taking swings and this kid's skin is going to have to be quite thick by the time Armin comes back on August 1st. We're proud of you for being able to handle
talked about that fantasy football league earlier. This is
nothing. I can handle it.
I can take it.
I can take it. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Oh man, it is just fantastic stuff throughout the day. John, I've been saving this when we talk about a course. We talk about twists and turns. We don't talk a whole lot of racing on this station. Little to none. However, in Wisconsin, there's a race yesterday, the Slinger Super Speedway Nationals, Slinger Nationals. It is their biggest event of the year. 200 lap race at the world's fastest quarter mile track right here in Wisconsin. And your boy, Brad Miller, has been fighting, scratching, clawing, tooth and nail, trying to win the Slinger Nationals for his entire career, 30 plus years. He finally won it last night, John. After taking second place and the winner being DQ'd early in the morning for a violation on car size, your boy Brad Miller said 30 bleeping years I've been racing at this place, been dreaming of winning this race, and I hate that it happened like this, but a rule's a bleeping rule, man. Think about that. Finally reached the mountaintop, and it's because of that.
Even more than that, if you are number one and you cheated and they deem you are not number one anymore, there's an old line that says, the king is dead, long live the king. And what that means, that statement is, whoever's second, whoever's next is now number one.
Oh, man. But just imagine that you're sitting there grinding, scratching, and clawing. It's the one race that you think of every single year, and okay, I finally got it. I just had to wait, and I'm like 3 cold bush lights in after I'm done with the race, and they're done with their inspections, that I find out that we ended up winning it. Probably the fourth one celebrated
maybe a little bit. Now he's got to win it twice. Now he's just got to win it twice.
He's
already won it once. He's already a winner.
I like that. Now the revenge tour and the repeat is even sweeter for it. All right, so the Brewers take on the Pittsburgh Pirates again here tonight. Throw that 12-2 game out. Jake Bauers got all the good vibes going with a clean inning at the back end. Get a win here tonight. We'll talk with Paul Wagner coming up tomorrow before Paul Skeens makes his Milwaukee debut against the Crew. I'm going to that one. I know the morning show might not like it, but we are loving the fact that you're hanging out and interacting with us all week long. For John Kuhn, for Nick Bruzewitz, took some arrows, did a great job. Hopefully he shows up again tomorrow. I'm Billy Schmidt. We'll try to be better tomorrow. It's been 9 to noon statewide on The Game.